Let's welcome back Miranda Khan, who's joining us again for the rest of our show.
I lost my way to the side, but I found it.
It's good to have you back.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
We also want to welcome in our roundtable panel. We have John Yob, author and former national political director for several candidates, and Craig Shirley from Shirley and Bannister Public Affairs. Of course, he's also a presidential historian and the author of The Last Act, The Final Years, and Emerging Legacy of Ronald Reagan. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Well, we all knew that it was going to get a little ugly in South Carolina. John, but are you surprised by how much the word liar has been thrown around? You just saw that compilation, or heard it, rather.
Well, historically, that's been a risky word to use in a political campaign or certainly a presidential contest. I think Bob Dole learned that a couple times over the years. But the reality is that in this cycle, the level of acceptable rhetoric coming from the candidates seems to have stepped up a notch. Donald Trump has a remarkable ability to find a weakness in a candidate and then demand coverage on that topic relentlessly. He did it to Jeb Bush with low energy. He did it with Rand with electability, Carly Fiorina on Hewlett-Packard, and Scott Walker on finances in Wisconsin. Even with his fight with Fox News, there's been some concern expressed by some grassroots activists that they have gone to establishment, and in this case even favor Rubio. So making the case that they treat him unfairly and using the Megyn Kelly question at the first debate might demonstrate some methodical and strategic thinking.
Yeah, there's also, if you watch the Frank Luntz focus groups too, very favorable to Rubio recently as well. Craig, this word liar, as John mentioned, it can be troublesome when you throw it around. Do you agree with his assessment that voters just have a higher tolerance for ugly political discourse this election cycle?
Well, it remains to be seen. Actually, the use of the word liar is pretty tame in the context of American political history. In the election of 1800, John Adams' supporters charged that if Thomas Jefferson was elected, he would sell their wives and daughters into prostitution. Abraham Lincoln was described as a talking monkey. Ronald Reagan was a grade B actor with premature orange hair. Is that over the course of American politics, there have been many low moments. Richard Nixon said that Helen Gahagan Douglas was pink right down to her underwear. So this idea that we reached a new low really is, I think, we're in the moment. So therefore, we think that this moment is most important. When, as a matter of fact, over the 200 years of American political history, it's not all that troublesome. It is. I think a lot of people have become inured to it because it's been thrown around so much,
right,
so that it really doesn't have much resonance anymore. So they really need to find new adjectives to describe each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's harsh. I mean, being called low energy, I could handle that. Nasty, handle that, but liar, ooh, that just, I don't know. Hillary Clinton was having some trouble with that, with the truth last night on CBS News. She couldn't give a straight answer on whether she's ever lied to the American people. Take a look.
Well, I have to tell you, I have tried in every way I know how, literally from my years as a young lawyer all the way through my time as Secretary of State, to level with the American people.
You talk about leveling with the American people. Have you always told the truth?
I've always tried to. Always. Always.
I'm somewhat struck, John, by how difficult Hillary Clinton, at the time she has answering questions like this one, it seems like you just say, of course I've lied. I've told people that I like food that they made for me that I didn't actually like. But how can you do so poorly answering a question like that?
She clearly plays into the narrative all too often. She comes across as being dishonest and escaping the issues, and frankly speaking, that goes back a number of years with both her and her husband in terms of having that perception of not being fully upfront and honest with the American people, and I think she's playing into that this cycle as well.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised because she's known for quite some time, I'm sure her campaign has, that's kind of been
trustworthy
a weakness.
numbers, yeah.
That's kind of been a weakness of her and something that she's had to work on. Craig, why isn't, I agree with John, why isn't she getting better at answering questions like that or expecting questions like that?
Miranda, sometimes is that, candidates just can't face major league hitting. We've seen candidates before that can't break out of AAA baseball. They get up to the majors and all of a sudden they can't hit the inside curve. And I'm not sure that she's ever been ready for national politics. It certainly isn't a George Washington moment, is it? When she's asked a simple question and she treats it like it's a hot potato instead of saying, no, I've never lied to the American people. She fumbles it around and mumbles around and bumbles it around, and really, makes things actually worse for herself.
And for someone
Sometimes
who's pretty much been a career politician, that's pretty sad. Craig, Shirley, John Yob, thanks so much for joining us. Pleasure to have you here, as always, on Newsmax Now.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Just one more reminder, we want to ask everybody to join us tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Miranda and I are going to kick off our live coverage of the South Carolina primary. We'll have John Gizzi back with us, many, many more joining us as well to give you the most up-to-date and comprehensive coverage of South Carolina. Still to come on Newsmax Now, Fox News host Megyn Kelly goes after Donald Trump again. We'll take you there, but will it make a difference come tomorrow's crucial primary? We're coming back after this.